I acted very emotional in last week's video. I should really pay attention to what I do with this type of content, so I may not be exposed to be put on the next of the chopping block. How would you rate me out of 10? Now wait.
Shut the f*** up.
Guys, I bet you can't get enough of those stupid videos. A simple video with a guy with a camera walking along on a public street, interviewing random women and asking them the stupidest question on the planet. What would you rate me out of 10? Me personally, and I'm hoping majority of my viewers of my videos, the second I see these type of videos, I instantly just turn it off and just try not to think about what I just saw. Because every time I just see even the slightest of these types of videos, I get that very uncomfortable feeling of low self-esteem coming off of the guy asking those questions. Every guy who does those types of videos is obviously exploiting their self-conscious vibes amongst the world. I could also say the same thing about women doing the same types of videos when they're just fishing for compliments. But this channel is solely focused on men's personal development, not women's. These videos just beg a question that are in need of an answer. A very simple answer. Who cares? A man as an individual should not care about what his world thinks about him, what his world judges about him, how he looks, how he acts. It should only solely matter what that man thinks of himself. For the guys who are paying attention, who have a healthy sense of humor and more brain cells than most, are starting to catch on to the trend of the insecurity factor with this all. You're starting to see videos where guys are paying women to go on talk show hosts, podcasts, or just a general interview on the street, and they're not getting the answer they want, and they're getting mad, and they're getting verbal, and ultimately that creates physicalness. You have to remember, us guys with our flight or fight response, it has to be maintained. It's easily more impactful on us than the opposite sex. Because say you're out there doing those types of videos, and all of a sudden you're just shooting, you go through like 5 different women that gave you 10s, and you come across one that you are just clearly unattracted to, you think it's just going to be easy, and she gives you a rating of 3. Fight. What do you mean a 3? Look at me. Look at you. Simultaneously, it ego strokes you and sheds out the insecurities. You should not fucking care about any type of these answers at all. If you've been watching this channel for a little bit, you may have caught on that I don't talk about anything with dating, aspects of picking up women in general. It's all centered around men's personal development. Trust me, I'm as straight and accurate as an arrow. But I stick with these teachings because these are the teachings that really have helped me out of my depths in my life. To help overcome, to help influence myself out there to achieve the success with women and social value and social approval, just total acceptance of myself within me and out there. That's why it all starts with men having healthy self-esteem, to go into that environment with that healthy self-esteem, to think highly of yourself, to think, I don't really care what goes on today, I love myself, and whatever goes on, I'm still gonna love myself. Throw it right at me. I don't care what you throw at me. It's not gonna deplete my vision of what I think of myself. And that's what you should always be thinking internally to yourself, silently, and let your actions show what you are telling yourself inside of your head. Let it work its way out there into reality. You see someone you're interested in? Give a glance. Get a glance back? Approach. Say hi, ask her name, pay attention to the body language. And if it's a positive response, positively continue more into it. You gotta remember, with us guys, you have to pay attention to the actions first before proceeding into the interactions. Build up that tension. Don't say shit. Don't kiss and tell anything to anyone. Don't act, oh, can you rate me? Do you think I'm cute? Do I look good today? Would you date me? Be very direct as a guy. Be direct with what your intentions are, and if it does not reciprocate, move along. Have a nice day. Bye. With my insecurities, I would say this is the subject matter that has brought me to my lowest point in my life. And I remember that lowest point. I was constantly being dodged and picked on by women in high school. They had nothing to do with me, so obviously I treated it as I had nothing to do with them. So I isolated myself and got out of high school and tried to make a fresh start in college. But life has a way of creeping up back on you because of past traumas that were not dealt with. When I was first going into college, I was still exploiting my insecurities out to women, and I was immediately being shot down. Immediately. And it was pissing me off. And I'm like, I can't isolate myself again. There's got to be something that I need to do. And that thought was very small inside of my head until I had a realization with a certain chick that just really brought it to the forefront of you have to do this to make this happen. There was like a slew of dating apps to interact, and I went to college in a very small town up north, so the numbers were limited, and you wouldn't think so, but a lot of people just knew each other all around and they already had their set opinion. So I meet up with a chick online and was like, hey, wanna come hang out with my friends, they're throwing a party, whatever, blah blah blah, and doesn't really respond to it and starts kind of asking questions that just totally bring out my insecurities, and she basically got me. She exploited how insecure I was to a lot of people. I was treated a lot differently for a little bit, and I just had to really cut the cord on it all. I couldn't take it anymore. It got to a point where I'm like, I guess I'm isolating myself again because I'm being viewed the way I really shouldn't be. So I'm just gonna go to school and just not think about it. I didn't want to think about it so much that I kept rummaging it through my head at night. I couldn't sleep. So I would buy multiple bottles of NyQuil, and I just knocked myself out. Some nights I would take too much and I would skip class the next day because I was so tired. But it would just drown my thoughts out. It was just not the path I wanted to take, and I had to cut that quick and learn. Shut the fuck up. Stop exploiting yourself. If you have an interest in mind, pursue with that interest. If it does not reciprocate, move on to the next. There's endless amounts of opportunities in this world, but you cannot get away from what you perceive yourself as. Perceive yourself as positive. Perceive yourself as great. Don't get away from that. Once I really started to slightly pull myself out of those depths to come to the realization of just stop talking so much and just proceed with the action of interest and just let it spark. I ended up going with the chick for 3 months. I lived with her at her vacation house for a whole summer basically. It was a lot of fun. Moved on to another chick, and so on and so on. Lesson learned. And right up to today, I don't go up to women and ask, like, what do you think of me? What do you rate me as? If I have an interest in mind, I announce that interest. If it doesn't reciprocate, I just move on to something that is another interest until the interest is matched. Because like my teachings, like how naturally us guys should be, I'm moving in a forward motion towards a purpose. I have a vision in mind in my head, and I love how I'm traveling down it. I love that I'm doing it. I love everything about me and what I'm doing with it. And that's really how it should be.
Saint Perigine, patron saint of all forms of cancer. We ask you for your help in asking God to heal my cancer and keep it in remission. Pray for me so that I may live a long and faithful life.